All right, guys, what is going on? So we're going to do a quick video today. I've had a lot of questions on tying, different tying methods, how I tie, why I do it, this, that, and the other. So I'm just going to tie up a couple chuck roasts, and we're going to talk about it. So these are the chuck roasts I have. They're about 3 pounds each. And I'm going to do 2 different styles of tying. We're going to do a continuous knot, and then we're also just going to do individual knots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, angle the camera down. It'll give you a better view of what I'm doing. And then we'll just talk about it. So we'll go ahead and see you guys in a second. All right, so the first knots we're going to tie is just an individual knot. So this is the butcher twine I have. I actually really like this. I will put the affiliate link into the description for this. It's a little bit of a thicker butcher's twine. I just keep it in a coffee can right on the bottom of the bench. Keeps it a little bit cleaner. So the main reason we tie is when you are cooking meat, cooking roasts and things like that, the main process that it's doing while it's cooking is all the juices that are inside start flowing throughout the meat, and it allows even cooking temperature. If you leave it loose like this, again, this being a chuck roast, it's not as big of a deal. It's definitely more of a big deal on an oven roast, kind of like this. This is a rib roast I just did up. That is the continuous knot that I will show you. But it is nice to tie up chuck roast. It kind of keeps everything together. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do a continuous knot. We're going to put about 5 ties on this. When you tie the individual knots, it's important to start in the middle of the roast and work to either side. If you were to start tying here and work your way over this way, what happens is this side is going to be more compact and smaller than this side, and you're not going to get an even cook. Again, on a chuck roast, it's not as big of a deal, but we're going to do it right. So we start with that under it, right in the middle. We're going to hold this string up. We're going to bring the twine back around this rope, under, and then back through the loop you made, and pull it super tight. So this is a self-tightening knot. If you want it tighter, just pull a little more. And then what we do, we'll turn around so you can see it. Go ahead and loop that, pull that through, and put a double knot on that so you know that's not coming loose. So now you have your first knot. So we're just going to continue down one side, put 2 more ties on here. And spin it around, knot that up, and we'll just finish it up with these 2. And on this last one, I will redo the knot just to show you one last time. All right, so we'll try and get it from this angle so you can see it a little bit better. So take your twine, put it under, put it over. Hold this up. You're going to wrap the twine around that. And of course, you can't see because my fat fingers are in the way, so we were just going to lift it up high so you can see it. Okay, wrap it around, back under, through the loop, pull it nice and tight. So now you have a nice, neatly tied roast, nice and even. If you need to even it on the back side, you can. If you wanted to, you could put another tie along this way, but we don't need to go crazy with that. So Now we're going to do what I usually do for a go-to for all of my roast tying, which is a continuous knot. So with this, we're going to start at this back end, and it's going to start very similar, except for the fact that when we were tying this one, it was facing us horizontally. This one is going to be facing us vertically, so the cut end is facing me. So we're going to do the same knot to start with. Get that good and tight. All right, so now what we're going to do is continue with the knot. We're not going to cut this at all. We're going to use the same piece of string. We're going to make a loop like this. Put it in nice and even. And cinch it up. So as you go along, and just so you can see it again, and you can't because my fat fingers are in the way, we're just going to bring our fingers around, make a loop, cinch it up. There it is. One more. So now that you've made it all the way to the end, what we're going to do is bring this around, cut our string. So now what we're going to do, as you can see, these are all fairly tight. So what we're going to do, give it a good pull, take our string, put it around one side of the knot, put it around the other side of the knot, and give it a good pull. I like this thicker twine doing this. If you use a thinner, like less expensive butcher's twine, it will tend to break on you. So you get a good pull, make your loop, grab the original end of the twine that you tied that first knot with, tie it off, cut off the extra, and now you have a really tight, really nice looking roast that's kind of more aesthetically pleasing. Again, one isn't better than the other. I just like the way these turn out and look. More than likely, as I continue to cut this beef, I will do the star style roast. What am I doing here? Oh, hi, that's a bad angle. So I'll go ahead and tie another roast later on with the other style of roast tying that I do. And when I do, we'll see you there. All right, kids. So we are back. We are on my side of the beef. This beef is going into my freezer. We're actually going to turn this whole round tip into stir fry, but I wanted to kind of show you an example of another style of tying. I just call it the star, just because of how it looks. So we've got the front of the round tip. As you can see, there are sections of it that are not even with everything else. This is a good tie to do if you were doing like a ham. Because again, when you debone a ham, or even if you kept the bone in and you were cutting ham steaks, the end of the ham is very similar, where it will kind of mesh down. It wouldn't cook evenly if you didn't tie it. So with this, we're just going to continue and do the separate tie, but we're just going to move the roast as we do it, and just kind of separate it, and basically just get every section of it. And what you'll see is at the end, it will all be very similar. Just going to keep spinning it as you go. So now when you look at it, it's obviously not the prettiest thing in the world, but it looks a lot nicer than it did before. You can place it like that. It looks really nice. And if you really want to make sure you got a good, strong tie, you can also put a wrap around. And there you go. So that is that specific knot. So those are essentially the 3 knots that I use on a daily basis when working with roasts. So now I'm just trying to readjust this tripod so you're not looking at my chin the entire time while I'm doing this. So I hope that was helpful. I had a lot of people asking about that, especially since our live demo at SRF. I had a ton of people asking about knot tying, had a couple comments about it, so we figured we'd get something out. So I appreciate everyone watching. If you haven't gone and checked out my live demonstration at SRF, please subscribe to this channel. First off, head over to the channel and it should be the next video down. We had a great time, super fun. We're trying to figure out how we're getting back there again, but it'll be a great time. So we got a ton more videos to come, and I appreciate you guys watching, so we'll see you next time.